Hello from the Hack Shack right here in Los Angeles. My name is Johnny. Today I'm going to be reviewing Bloodline, the recent horror thriller starring Seann William Scott. No, this is not a comedy. You're in the right place, so let's dig in. Bloodline is written and directed by Henry Jacobson. Two other writing credits include Will Honley and Avra Fox-Lerner. Now, I looked into the director Henry Jacobson's credits on IMDb, and I noticed he was a producer and cinematographer for mainly documentary films. It looks like Bloodline is Henry's first horror thriller feature, and it really wasn't all that bad. The movie premiered at Fantastic Fest in 2018 and was released in September 2019. I saw that Blumhouse was one of the production companies attached, so that always piques my interest. Without spoiling the whole movie, I'll just do like a brief plot overview. So you have Seann William Scott, who plays Evan Cole. He is a social worker who counsels at-risk students at a Southern California high school. His wife Lauren, played by Mariela Garriga, is very much pregnant and eventually gives birth to a baby boy. Now Evan, having grown up in a broken home, vows to never let anything happen to his family. Evan's mom, Marie, played by Dickey, is also gonna make sure that things run real smoothly for Evan and his family. She's one protective mama, that's for sure. And if there's one mom you don't want to cross, it's a mom played by Dickey. I don't know if you've seen her in movies like Winter's Bone or Hell or High Water, or even like Breaking Bad. You know she can be one badass chick. So after the birth of Evan and Lauren's son, something really starts triggering Evan when he starts listening to his students' stories about domestic abuse during their counseling sessions. Evan's past comes up, his anger rises, and he feels like he needs to take matters into his own hands to protect his students. I feel Bloodline was a good title for this one. Now, before we get into the likes and dislikes of this film, let's acknowledge the elephant in the room here. Seann William Scott playing a disturbed social worker in a horror thriller film. Yes, it is like a 180 turn from his usual work, like playing Party Boy Stifler from the American Pie franchise, or just the doofus from Dude, Where's My Car? But once you get past typecasting him as that type of actor, he's really not too bad at playing this more serious, unhinged, disturbed role. To be honest, I couldn't 100% get over his past as a comedic actor, but I think you just really need to try to do that before you start watching this film. He's no Christian Bale in American Psycho, he's no Jack Nicholson in The Shining, he's no Alan Rickman in Die Hard, but I didn't expect him to be. Just lower the bar, people. Now, with all that being said, let's get into what I liked about Bloodline. I love a movie with a jarring opening, and Bloodline wasted no time at getting you into a graphic scene within the first couple minutes. And I must say, the practical effects during some of these kill scenes is pretty cool. Another thing I enjoyed was just the simplicity of how it was filmed. A lot of stationary shots, nothing fancy. It really felt like an indie movie. And that minimalistic, stationary filming technique takes me to my next point, what I really liked, the tone. The movie did a great job at making you feel a bit depressed and uncomfortable. Seann William Scott's deadpan delivery, the use of cool lighting and heavy shadows all helped create that gloomy environment. Adding to that despair, I appreciated how they showed the difficulties of raising a newborn and using that to help push the tone. The constant crying, feeding, changing, being tethered to an infant for almost 24 hours a day, and the exhaustion it causes. I have a 2.5-year-old little girl, and I remember that part of life very vividly, like it was just yesterday. I literally felt, okay, you see this? This was me for, I don't know, a year. Oh man, good times. Don't have children. I'm kidding. Okay, enough baby talk here. Now, I did have a dislike that turned into a like for me toward the end of the film. There seems to be a theme going on in this movie with repetition. Evan goes to work each day, sort of in the same suit and tie, sits in the same chairs, listening to his students with similar stories, and the killings, in a way, played out very similar as well. Now, I was getting slightly bored with how people were dying in this film because it seemed like they were getting killed the same way over and over and over again. But you come to find out there's a method to the madness, and once that light bulb goes off in your head, you're like, oh, I get it. And there's little clues throughout the film as to why the killings are done this way. Okay, now let's talk about some things I didn't like about Bloodline. The brutality of Bloodline seemed to taper off towards the end of the movie. I know you can't constantly have kill scenes one after another, scene after scene after scene, unless you're the John Wick franchise. I mean, the John Wick movies kick ass, so I'll give them a pass. But if you're not a John Wick movie, you can't constantly having kills in every single scene because you're gonna get desensitized to them and you just won't appreciate them as much. But what I'm saying is the last half hour or so of the film just kind of dragged on. However, during that last 30 minutes that sort of seemed to drag on, there were a couple fun twists that almost just made up for it all. My final thoughts on Bloodline are it's a interesting horror thriller film that doesn't follow the typical linear story, but that makes it fun to try and fit all the pieces together before the end of the film. There are some lulls in here, like I said earlier, and at times it can be hard to believe Seann William Scott in this role, but overall I'd give it a 6 out of 10. I say keep supporting horror movies, rent or buy Bloodline today, give it a shot. Alright everyone, my time is up. I really hope you enjoyed my review of Bloodline. Go ahead and tell me what you thought about this video in the comments if you've seen the movie, and I hope you give this channel a subscribe if you haven't already. And let's be friends to the end, people. You know you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at The Horror Hack. I am Johnny the Horror Hack, and this has been one hack of a show.